What is up, Dallas Cowboys fans? I am IndyCar Tim with your Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz and your Philadelphia Eagles post-game show. Not the outcome I think any of us wanted, maybe the outcome most of us expected. As the Cowboys heading into Sunday really had three realistic how to win situations, right? Number one, recognize a handful of splash play chances that might be available against the Eagles and take advantage. Number two, treat dual threat quarterback Jalen Hurts like a full fledged running back that he is, by the way. Make no mistake, he's a running back, not a quarterback. And tackle him when you have the opportunity coming out of the backfield. Or number three, win the turnover battle and transform those takeaways into momentum shifting offensive scores. None of those things happened. So the outcome is exactly what we have, a 26-17 loss. Yes, the Cowboys had opportunities, not in the first half. The first half was a shambles. The first half was an embarrassment. The first half was a team that looked clueless, lost, undeserving of anything that might be given to them on the field. But they did what good teams do, actually, and what well-coached teams do, and they came out of halftime with a plan, and they implemented that plan. Whatever that plan was, I heard that, and again, unsubstantiated. None of this is confirmed. I heard coming out of the first half into the second half that Mike McCarthy took over play calling. Again, unconfirmed. I'm not saying that he did. I'm just saying that was his plan coming out of the half. We all saw Kellen Moore on the sidelines with his playbook, doing what they do when they're calling plays. He's doing this over his microphone, blah blah blah, whatever it is. That's what he was doing. Whatever it was worked to an extent. The Cowboys came out after being down 20-0 at the half. They scored 17 straight points and looked really good doing it. But it wasn't enough. The defense, as they have done all year, the defense bent and bent and bent. But it also broke several times, which it has not done this year, allowing a season-high 26 points. The issue here, I think, for the defense stems from an offensive situation where backup quarterback Cooper Rush failed miserably and made horrific mistakes for the first time in this season since he started. In the 5 games now that he has started, just failed. He had his good points, of course, as he has in other games. Don't forget, they beat the Rams having Cooper Rush thrown for just 102 yards. Not getting into stats and all that crap right now because none of it is relevant. All of this, the loss, everything that happened tonight, is stemming from the mistakes that Cooper Rush made. Or if you want to say the mistakes he was forced into by the Eagles defense, that's fine too. However you want to phrase it, say it, however you want to call it. Cooper Rush's 3 interceptions had all of the impact after he's made 0 in the other 4 starts that he's made this year. Those 3 interceptions were all huge in the momentum built by the Eagles and the win by the Eagles. Not saying, this is Cooper Rush's fault, because if you told us after the Tampa Bay loss, the 19-3 loss in week 1, when Dak Prescott went down with a broken thumb, Cooper Rush came in, looked almost as bad as Dak Prescott did while he was playing in that 19-3 loss. If you'd have said Cooper Rush is going to start the next 5 games for the Cowboys and they're going to go 4-1, would you have taken that? Yeah, I'd have taken that. And I'd have said, you're a freaking liar. There's no way that's happening. Yet here we are. As disappointing as the losses against Philadelphia, a division rival, the hated, maybe the only left hated division rival there is that's left, right? Why do we hate Washington? I mean, I don't. They suck. I almost feel bad for Washington. Do we still hate the Giants? Like maybe a little bit this year because they're kind of good again, maybe a little bit. There's been no rivalry with the Giants for the past few years for the Cowboys. Kind of feel bad for the Giants, but no, Philadelphia is the one remaining rivalry the Cowboys have in the NFC East. And this hurts more being a loss than maybe if they'd have lost to somebody else. But that's just me as a Cowboys fan looking at the opponent. By the way, I tweeted this out at IndyCar Tim on Twitter. By the way, follow me. I'll follow you back. Tweeted out the Eagles might have the most disgusting uniform and color scheme I've ever seen in my entire life. And no, I'm not just noticing this. I've been watching football since the mid 70s. I've been watching football consciously since the mid 70s. And the early Eagles with that, whatever it was, Kelly Green, I think they called it, was far superior to what this bullshit is they have right now because it's disgusting. It makes me want to vomit. But whatever. That's a different podcast for today. Yes, I'm a little perturbed right now that the Cowboys lost. Again, kudos to the Eagles. They played a better game. By the way, the highlight of the Cowboys defense the last couple of years has been who? Micah Parsons. The Eagles game plan going into the game, stop Micah Parsons from stopping us, the Eagles. And they were 100% successful. Micah Parsons was frustrated. He had by far the worst game of the season. As far as I saw, no quarterback hurries for Parsons. I know they had a couple of sacks. But this was I won't even call it a bad game for Parsons because that was the game plan. They stayed away from Micah Parsons, and good for them. It worked. Where do the Cowboys go from here? You know what? Just like it was any other loss. Doesn't matter who it's against. You're now 4-2. You're 2 games back now of the Eagles in the division. You're 1 game back now from the Giants by virtue of their win in Green Bay today, by the way. But again, the Giants don't scare me. I'm happy for the Giants. I'm happy for Daniel Jones. That will not last. It will be the Cowboys and the Eagles, hopefully fighting it out for the division crown at the end of the season. The Eagles, the remaining undefeated team in the NFL. How long will that last? Probably not very long because this team has a ton of flaws. Cowboys brought a lot of those flaws out in the second half. They just couldn't sustain it due to some offensive. I said due to some offensive inadequacies. But there will be better teams that will play the Eagles better. That will beat the Eagles. They will not go undefeated. I know I'm going out on a limb. But anyway, it is what it is. 26-17 Eagles over Cowboys. Lots of things to take away from it. I don't know that there's any good things to take away from it other than the second half when the Cowboys did not quit. Attribute that to whoever you want. It's coaching. Well-coached teams make adjustments at halftime and show up in the second half, even when they're down 20-0, and that's absolutely what the Cowboys did today. Was it enough? No. But you know what? Kudos for them not quitting. CeeDee Lamb, I thought, could have had a better game. At one point, he had 1 catch on 5 targets in the third quarter. I know he had a couple of big catches. Again, I haven't looked at stats. It's not what this is about. CeeDee Lamb did not have the greatest game. I feel like they missed Dalton Schultz, who didn't play tonight. By the way, Noah Brown, that ridiculous touchdown catch, where it really could have gone either way, right? I mean, it was called a no catch as his left or right left, I think, butt cheek hit the very corner of the end zone, the back left corner of the end zone. I also feel that that could have been called a touchdown if that's how it was called on the field and they reviewed it. It probably would have stood, but the fact that it was called incomplete, they had to uphold the call and they couldn't reverse it. But dude, what a catch and what a throw by Rush, by the way. So full credit to that. It didn't count, but yeah. So there are some good things here, some bad things as well. I think we saw the first time the defense maybe was a little overmatched for a game, allowing 26 points, allowing over 20 for the first time this season. But again, it's against a good offense. I think the Eagles were the number 5 total offense this year coming into the game. So, you know what? It is what it is. I'm 10 minutes in here, almost 11 minutes in. You guys are tired of hearing me talk. I would like to hear what you guys think about the Cowboys game tonight, Cowboys, Eagles. Find me on Twitter at IndyCar10. If you're on YouTube, leave us a comment here. Let me know what you thought about the game where the Cowboys could have been better or where they couldn't have. You know, maybe they just did their best and they're just not as good as the Eagles. That's always possible too. Or if you're listening on the recorded podcast on your favorite podcast app, you can find it on in any of your favorite podcast apps. Find me on Twitter at IndyCar10. Make sure you head over to dspmediaonline.com to hear all of our great shows. And we will do it all again. Probably do another recap tomorrow when I have some time to think about things and look at some stats. We'll do another recap tomorrow, a little bit more in depth. Appreciate you guys. And until then, we'll see you.